Hermione had always been fascinated by the stories that her mother, Helen of Troy, told her about the gods and goddesses on Mount Olympus. Even though she was just a child, she had a keen interest in the tales of love and betrayal that the gods experienced. But Hermione's life was soon disrupted when the Trojan War began. Menelaus, her father, promised Hermione's hand in marriage to Neoptolemus, the son of Achilles, as a way to secure his allegiance in the war. Hermione was terrified at the thought of being married to a stranger, but she obediently followed her father's wishes. After the war was over, Hermione was sent to live with Neoptolemus in the city of Phthia. At first, Hermione was unhappy with her marriage. Neoptolemus was rough and uneducated, and he seemed to have no interest in her. But gradually, the two fell in love, and Hermione learned to appreciate her husband's bravery and loyalty. However, their happiness was short-lived. Neoptolemus became consumed with a desire for revenge against Apollo, who he believed had caused his father's death. He left Hermione to embark on a dangerous journey, with the promise to return to her once he had accomplished his goal. Months went by without any word from Neoptolemus. Hermione was consumed with worry, and finally received news that her husband had been killed. She was a young widow, alone in a strange city with no one to turn to. But fate had other plans for Hermione. She later married Orestes, her cousin, who she had been originally promised to before the war. Hermione was hesitant at first, having been hurt in the past, but she soon fell in love with Orestes. Together, they had a son named Tisamenus. The stories of the gods that Hermione had grown up with suddenly seemed less fascinating than the events of her own life. She had experienced love, loss, betrayal, and forgiveness, and had emerged stronger for it. She knew that her path had been winding and unexpected, but she couldn't help feeling grateful for the twists and turns that had led her to where she was today. The story begins with Menelaus, the husband of Helen of Troy, being involved in a controversial betrothal. While some ancient poets claim that he was part of both betrothals, Euripides begs to differ and states that Menelaus was only involved in the second one. However, Ovid claims that Menelaus had no idea of the promise made by Tyndareus. 10 years after the end of the Trojan War, Hermione, daughter of Menelaus and Helen, was finally married to Neoptolemus. Shortly after their marriage, a conflict arose between Hermione and Neoptolemus' concubine, Andromache. Hermione accused Andromache of casting spells to prevent her from getting pregnant. Hermione then asked her father to kill Andromache and her son while Neoptolemus was away at Delphi. Fortunately, Peleus intervened and saved them both. Unfortunately, Neoptolemus never returned from Delphi, and Orestes, Hermione's cousin, brought the news of his death. After Neoptolemus' death, Orestes took Hermione back to Mycenae to fulfill the original promise that Hermione would be his bride. Hermione and Orestes were married, and she gave birth to his heir Tisamenus. It is said that Orestes also married his half-sister Erigone, though it is not clear whether this happened after Hermione's death or if her marriage with Orestes ended for some other reason. Finally, Hermione joined her parents in Elysium. It is said that she eventually married Diomedes after his godly apotheosis and now lives with him on the Isles of the Blessed. The story is a tale of love, betrayal, and revenge, showcasing the intricacies of Greek mythology.
Do you want to explore more Greek mythology stories? Who do you want to see featured next? Subscribe and leave a comment below to let me know. I'll see you in the next video.